All over the world at WNST.net. We never stop talking Baltimore sports.
All right, here he is, the head coach, UMBC, Randy Monroe. All right, what's the story? You kicked these kids out a couple years ago. You got mad. You made them dress in some other room. What's the story with that?
Well, I figured they got tired of me yelling at them, so I had to try something new. So my approach was to say, well, if they are tired of Coach Monroe yelling at them, I need to do something else. So the night that we lost to New Hampshire, after beating Stony Brook and Boston University,
and you're thinking, how am I gonna get to these kids?
Well, we beat Boston University like 2 nights ago, with about 5 seconds left on the clock in a great game.
How'd Dennis take that? How'd Coach Wolf take that, by the way?
I'm quite sure he wasn't too happy with that, but it was a terrific win for us, and it was our 3rd year in the America East Conference, and we started to put a little dent in the league. And I thought we were a little complacent when we played against New Hampshire, which was Billy Herring's first year in the league. And our guys were 2-0, and kind of like, in the words of John Chaney, smelling themselves a little bit.
Right,
you know, they thought, well, we've arrived, and you know, we can just show up and we can beat New Hampshire, and that wasn't the case. We ended up losing by about 12, 13 points that night, and New Hampshire just clearly outplayed us. So on the way home, I'm thinking, okay, what can I do to get my point across to these guys?
He's smart.
Because they're not getting it right now. They're not getting it right now. They think that there's a sense of entitlement. So I came in the next morning and I called the captains in, and I said, listen, this is what we're going to do. You guys are going to go downstairs in your locker room. You're going to take the nameplates off the lockers. You're going to take your practice gear and you're going to put it in the bin. And
it's all gone. No UMBC stuff.
No UMBC stuff, because it's a privilege to wear the UMBC gear. It's a privilege to have your nameplate in the UMBC locker room that we had just built. This was a $3 million locker room, so that stuff was brand new. So I said, you guys don't deserve this because you feel there's a sense of entitlement and that people are just going to lay down and die when they play you and show up in the RAC arena. So, so we did that for about a week.
How'd that go over?
Little did I know we were going to get all this exposure.
Okay. You've been too hard on the boys, right?
I got people emailing me saying Monroe was wacko.
Right.
How could you lock the guys out of the locker room? I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel pressured by it, and by no means. It hasn't been the first time that was done. It's probably been done at the higher level. And John Feinstein came in and he did a story in the Washington Post. And he told me, he said, Randy, I've known you for years. I know what type of person you are. You're an intense person, but you're not a crazy person. You know, you're not going to do something like this for no reason at all. And then, lo and behold, just like a couple months later, Vivian Stringer did the same thing to her girls' team because she wasn't happy with their performance. So I think sometimes, you know, when we do things as coaches, sometimes they get taken out of context. And you know, we're teachers, we're educators, so we have to find different ways to educate and motivate young people.
You can't say the same thing every day.
And exactly, because sometimes it just falls on deaf ears. So we have to find different ways to push different buttons to get the young people to perform to their very best. And that's all we're asking them to do.
The great Randy Monroe is with us here at UMBC. Can't have a conversation with you about basketball without talking about Jay Green. You got a lot of the season left to go, but man, what a kid, what a career. Just
absolutely.
Been amazing.
Very amazing. A terrific young man. We're definitely going to miss him. We're going to miss Darryl also. Just 2 guys who just have been proving people wrong time and time again.
Kind of like UMBC basketball.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I can remember recruiting a young man, and my assistant at the time, Kevin Baggett, and I were in Florida watching him play. I was actually watching a big guy on the other side, and Kevin came over to me and said, "Hey, you gotta see this little guard. I think he's
you heard little guard.
Pretty doggone good." Well, I'm a firm believer is, you know, if the youngster can play, he can be little, he can be big. We'll take him. And you know, I remember people saying, you know, this guard's little, he's this, he's that, but what they couldn't see is the size of Jay Green's heart and how tenacious he was. You know, he single-handedly, he almost beat Chester High School by himself, taking his team to the state state Final Four in the state of Pennsylvania. Chester ended up winning the state championship that year. He almost single-handedly beat them by himself. And
he single-handedly beat some America East teams too,
yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, no, he does. You know, he's a very, very competitive person, and he loves basketball, and you know, he's been around the game a very long time, and he's gonna have a terrific career this year. There's no question about that.
Get on out to the rack. Check out Randy Monroe and the UMBC Retrievers.
All over the world at WNST.net. We never stop talking Baltimore sports.